Chapter 1. Why your cellulite isn't budging and what actually works. Hello, my beautiful friends. Thank you so much for being here. I truly mean that in all sincerity because I really know your time is precious, and the fact that you're showing up for yourself today, finding time for yourself, is no small feat. I don't take it lightly, and I want you to know that you are in the right place. Now, before we dive into the good stuff, let's get the legal housekeeping out of the way so we can actually just focus on what really matters. This training is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not medical advice, and individual results will vary. So always check in with your healthcare provider before starting this or any new wellness protocol, especially if you have underlying health conditions. And one more thing, you'll hear me mention some products that will have affiliate links later in this training. I want you to know that 100% of those commissions go directly to the Mirror Fund, a giving initiative I created to honor women recovering from abuse, trauma, and body shame. We fund two incredible organizations, Laura's House and Human Options, who help women rebuild their lives with dignity, protection, and support. So when you choose to invest in your wellness through this program, you're also investing in someone else's comeback story. Now let's talk about why I'm here and why this matters. I'm not walking into an operating room claiming to be a surgeon. I'm walking into a space women have been desperate for, a space where we encompass everything that traditional systems have separated: the body, fascia, feelings, food, and truth. I didn't just study this. I lived it. I tested it on myself. I built the system I couldn't find anywhere else. And I'm not here to make false promises or pretend that I have all the answers. I'm not claiming to cure. I'm claiming to care deeply, relentlessly, and unapologetically. And that's probably more than most board-certified experts are even trying to do. Because at the end of the day, credentials don't give hope. Stories do. Your trust isn't earned by a title, it's earned through truth. And I've made it my mission to tell the whole truth about cellulite, the stories it hides, and the power of coming home to your body. This didn't just start with confidence. It started with frustration, with hiding under towels, avoiding fitting room mirrors, wishing for a different body, and feeling guilty for even wanting that. But one day, something shifted. Not overnight, but step by step, I followed the checklist, and slowly the shame started to fall away. Those steps became a system, not just to reduce cellulite, but to rebuild the parts of me that I forgot were worthy all along. Now I'm sharing that with you. So let's begin together. Chapter 2. You've tried everything. Frustration, failure, and the emotional cost no one talks about. All right, my beautiful friends, thank you again so much for being here. The fact that you're taking time for yourself in this training tells me something very important. You've probably tried to reduce cellulite. Well, I'm Bree, the founder of the Cellulite site, and after years of frustration, failed treatments, and thousands of dollars spent chasing the so-called magic eraser, I finally uncovered a system no one else was talking about. Because cellulite isn't just about smoother skin. It's about the freedom lost, the shrinking, the quiet hiding from the outside in. So if you're sitting there thinking, I've tried it all, well, my friend, you're not alone. So let's talk about the emotional cost no one ever prepares us for. In this training, I'm going to walk you through the 6 real reasons your cellulite hasn't budged. They include fascia, lymph, stress, nutrition, mindset, and emotion, and show you the lifestyle that shifted everything for me. But first, I've got a little something to thank you for staying until the end of this session. You will unlock exclusive founders pricing for my 90-day Lifestyle Guide, only available to those who complete this training. Plus, I'll give you a soothing guided meditation to help you calm your body's survival reflex and reconnect with your body. So grab some lemon water, close those extra tabs, silence the scroll, and give your future self this next hour. Because once you understand this, you, my friend, will be set for life. You've given so much to everyone else. This one's for you. TikTok will still be there after this training, and you won't just watch confident women. You'll finally know how to feel that way yourself. Because what you're about to learn goes deeper than smoother skin. It truly has the power to change how you see your body and how you will show up for the rest of your life. Now, let me guess. You've tried the beautifully packaged creams with the gorgeous iridescent labels. You've bought the brush. You've Googled how to reduce cellulite more times than you'd care to admit. And yet, here you are, still hiding your legs, still feeling discouraged, still wondering if anything out there really works. Sound familiar? Again, you're not alone. I've been there too, staring at my thighs under fluorescent dressing room lights, thinking, how am I still this uncomfortable in my own skin? I've tried everything the clinics and spa techs recommended. The dimples stayed. Well, actually, my friends, got worse. And so did the shame. Have you ever felt like that too? Drop me a heart or share your story in the chat. I promise you're not alone. I read every comment and this space is secure for you. Here's the truth no one tells you. If cellulite were just a skin issue, lotion would have fixed it. If it were just fat, liposuction would have cured it. If it were just age, 20-year-olds wouldn't have it. And yet, women of every size, shape, and background still struggle because cellulite is more than a surface issue. It's the result of structural, hormonal, inflammatory, and emotional imbalances. That means even fit women have it. Even thin women have it. Even confident women battle it. So this training isn't about shame. It's about strategy. It's about moving from frustration to deep understanding. Because, again, once you understand what cellulite really is, you'll stop blaming your body and you'll start working with it. Now let's break it down. Every muscle in your body is wrapped in a layer of fatty connective tissue called fascia. This layer varies in thickness and is part of what gives the female body its beautiful, natural curves and softness. Inside that layer, clusters of fat cells suspended in fluid, held in place by a fibrous web of connective tissue bands called fibrous septi. These bands act like tiny internal anchors, pulling downward while fat cells underneath push upward. That push-pull, well, that's what creates the dimples you see on the surface. In a healthy system, blood, lymph, and water move freely through these tissues, delivering nutrients and oxygen and removing waste. But in areas prone to cellulite, that drainage slows way down. When the body can't keep up with the cleanup, fascia gets dry, sticky, and bound, like shrink wrap losing its stretch. Connective tissues swell with stagnant fluid and toxins like a sponge sitting in dirty dishwasher. Over time, it hardens into tight little pockets beneath the skin. Think about Play-Doh left out for days. It gets cracked, stiff, and impossible to mold. And those pockets puff upward, creating that familiar orange peel texture. Now, if you add stress that you've been carrying around for years, and suddenly those dimples make perfect sense and are inevitable. You're not just battling fat. You're up against structure, stagnation, stress, and biology. No wonder that $228 bottle of cream gave you only a temporary surface-level glow. So let's stop throwing money at treatments that ignore the why And instead, I'll walk you through the 6 hidden reasons your cellulite hasn't budged and exactly what to do about it. Chapter 3. The Cellulite Truth. It's not just fat. It's far more complex. But here's the truth, my friends. It's not just what you've done. It's about what we've all been taught to believe. So let's go deeper and call it what it is. We've been treating the symptom, not the system. Most women are taught to focus only on what they can see. The dimples, the shadows, the uneven texture. But cellulite is a much deeper surface issue. It's a signal. It's your body's way of waving a white flag saying something needs attention. So let's rip the Band-Aid off and finally break this down. The 6 hidden reasons your cellulite hasn't budged, no matter how many scrubs, squats, or serums you've tried. Number 1, fascia dysfunction. Tight, dehydrated connective tissue that wraps tension, trauma, and emotional residue. Number 2, lymphatic stagnation. Your detox system is sluggish and overwhelmed. Waste isn't moving, so results aren't showing. Number 3, chronic stress response. You're stuck in fight or flight, not rest and repair, leaving your body in survival mode, not sculpting mode. Number 4 is lifestyle chaos. You've built daily to-do lists around stress, hustle, and depletion instead of nourishment, rhythm, and self-trust. And number 5, structural imbalances. Those interconnective bands pull downward while fat pushes upward, creating the dimples you see on the surface. Number 6, nutrition, and yes, all are connected. When your body's structure is stuck, your lymph is blocked, and your cortisol is peaking, your nervous system never gets a break. And we're talking about lymphatic congestion, tissue tightness, circulatory stagnation, cortisol spikes, emotional exhaustion. When your body is stuck in stress, survival mode, or inflammation, it stores, not sculpts. It holds on, not lets go. So what's the real solution? It's not a product, it's not a punishment, but a system. A reunion, a return, a recalibration. That restores fascia, lymph, inner balance, lifestyle, emotional restoration. And guess what? That's exactly what the Cellulite Circuit Lifestyle Guide delivers. So if you're ready to stop chasing quick fixes and start understanding what actually works, the next part is where things are going to get really good. Chapter 4, My Story. I've been where you are. The moment everything shifted. If you're nodding along thinking, yes, this is me, this sounds like me, well, let me share a piece of my story because I've been exactly where you are. Let me tell you a little bit about my journey. I spent years looking for a fix, and not just for my skin, but how I felt living in it. I avoided beach vacations. I dreaded dressing rooms. I spent more time researching cellulite than probably most dermatologists do in med school. One night, I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror as I walked past. I just felt sad, defeated, still looking at the same dimples that had me in the clinics years before, spending thousands of dollars in hopes to lose the dimples and gain the certainty back that I once took for granted. Somehow, over the years, 27 of them to be exact, it was as if my body and I were in a silent war. That was the moment I knew something had to shift. I was not going to live the rest of my life in turmoil with my body. Because while I was trusting and lining the doctor's pockets, I was slowly losing my sense of self. The more time, energy, and finances I spent chasing the next miracle cure, the more depressed I became. So I started trying the tools. Well, I basically owned the tool aisle. I had the brush, the scrapers, the sculptors, a cabinet full of gadgets that looked more like a medieval torture device chamber than self-care. But I wasn't using the tools with intention. I was grasping for a miracle, waving them around like little magic wands, hoping one would finally make me love my body overnight. But here's what really happened. I was still uncertain. I was still discouraged. I was still hiding behind sarongs and self-doubt. It wasn't a lack of willpower. Well, maybe it was a little bit. It wasn't because I was lazy, certainly. It wasn't that I needed to tighten up my routine. I was both obsessed and exhausted, stuck in a spiral that kept me chasing, spending, and blaming my reflection. Then one day, something cracked. And no, it wasn't my fascia. It was the lie I'd been telling myself. This is your fault. You just need to try harder. That night, I made a quiet promise to myself. I will never look at my reflection with shame again. I stopped blaming my body and I got curious instead. I walked away from med spas, from miracle creams, from influencers with filter-perfect skin and no real answers. And I dove into the actual science, not brand hype, not celebrity endorsements, biology. I learned that my body's connective tissue was tight, dehydrated, and holding on to trauma. My detox pathways were sluggish and overwhelmed. My body had been living on high alert, burned out from years of stress and unrealistic pressure. My body didn't need another boot camp. It needed flow. It needed balance. It needed care. Honestly, I never set out to create a system. I was just tired of chasing one miracle after another. And since I already owned every tool under the sun, as I said, the brush, the scraper, the roller, the oil, what else? The mitts, I figured, well, why not use them all? So I started going through the same daily motions, not because I thought it would work, but because honestly, it just felt proactive. It was like I was finally in participation of my own regeneration, even if nothing did change. It wasn't that strategic. It wasn't entirely science-backed. It was just instinct. It was an act of reverence. It was grace, a daily act of self-respect, maybe because that was something I never gave to myself. It made me feel like I was honoring my body, my mind, my spirit, instead of spiraling in shame. And then after about 2.5 months of mindlessly performing my routine, I walked past the full-length mirror in my house shorts with the sunlight pouring through the window, and I literally froze. For the first time in 20 years, I didn't flinch. I didn't quickly look away. I didn't criticize. I just noticed. My legs looked smoother. The dimples were fading. And I didn't just look different. At that moment, I felt different, proud, at peace, even powerful. I snapped photos. I texted my friends. I probably cried because something clicked. That routine that I'd been doing on autopilot, it wasn't a fluke. It was working. And that's when I realized our focus honors every layer because cellulite isn't solved by one cream, one tool, or one blade cutting the fibrous bands beneath the skin. It's about creating an all-inclusive system that works with your biology, hydration, circulation, fascia, mindset, and your body's pathways. So nothing gets left behind and everything starts working cohesively together. This didn't come from a clinic. It came from clarity, from intuition, from paying attention to patterns, from honoring what felt right to my body. It did not happen overnight, but once I committed to love myself no matter what I saw in the mirror, through the process, the shame softened, and the dimples did too. I sent those after photos to my friends immediately in that same day. I wanted to share this with women around the world because that was my breakthrough. There's no way to create harmony in the body while you're beating yourself up in your mind. That's the day the Cellulite Circuit was born. Curated through instinct, refined through intention, and transformed into a daily practice that finally gave me the results I'd only dreamed about. So what began as desperation turned into dedication. I pored over research papers, case studies, anatomy books, curating a system rooted in biology, not beauty myths. If you're frustrated by the millions of opinions, articles, and false promises, I've already done the research. Always more to do. But what you'll find inside the Cellulite Circuit Lifestyle Guide is everything I wish someone had handed me a long time ago. I've shared my story because I want you to know that you're not alone. What you've been feeling isn't just in your head. It's in your tissue. Your body remembers the stress, the stillness, the stuckness, and Fascia, well, she's holding it all together and holding on this whole time. So let's talk about her. But don't forget that my gift to you and the Founders Launch Price are coming up soon, so you have to stay with me. Chapter 5, Stuck Fascia, the tissues holding the issues. Now let's get into what is really going on beneath the surface of the skin. This next part might change everything you thought you knew. Stuck fascia, the tissue that stores the issues. Fascia holds on to memory. It holds on to tension. It holds on to the grief you brushed off, the stress you powered through, and the shame you tried to shrink. Unreleased trauma becomes physical resistance. So let's go a little bit deeper to the tissues that ties it all together. It's not just tight. It's holding your tension hostage. This isn't anatomy trivia. This is the missing link. Hydration isn't the problem. Drainage is. Cellulite isn't just fat. It's structural, it's fluid, it's stuck. Most treatments only chase what they see on the surface, but the dimples are the signals. They're pointing to what's happening beneath the skin. Fascia is your body's internal scaffolding. It wraps around every muscle, organ, and fat cell. Thin, fibrous, and full of memory. When your internal scaffolding tightens, it tugs at your skin from the inside, again, as I explained earlier, creating that orange peel texture we've all tried to scrub away. But it's more than a physical grid. It's emotional tissue. It actually holds on to what you couldn't process up here. That lump in your throat that never got cried out, that clenched belly you kept pulling in to be smaller, the tight hips from years of walking on eggshells, the lower back tension that showed up the moment you stopped feeling safe in your relationship. My friends, it's not just fascia. It's memory wrapped in muscle, sealed in silence. It might be holding on to the heartbreak you never got to grieve, the betrayal you smiled through, the shame that's stuck after a hurtful, unwanted comment, the years you spent pretending not to care what you look like. My friend, you can't foam roll away the past. You have to meet it. You have to breathe through it. Soften the space it left behind. So when you're layering on creams and doubling down on cardio, but ignoring your fascia, it's kind of like repainting a wall that's crumbling behind the paint. You have to rehydrate the tissue. You have to restore its glide. You have to unwind the tension. That's what we do inside the cellulite circuit. We don't just scrub the surface. We meet the memory. We melt the armor. Because when you release the fascia, you release the story. And when the story softens, the reconnection begins. Chapter 6, Lymphatic Truth. Your body's drainage system, clogged and overlooked. If fascia holds memory, then lymph is the river that carries it away. Let's open the floodgates. Why is your body holding on, even when you're doing everything right? Well, let's talk about something that most wellness routines completely skip: drainage. It's not only important for your home plumbing, it's also very important for your internal flow. It's not sexy, it's not sparkly, but it's definitely essential in both cases. Because if you've been working out, eating clean, and drinking water like it's your full-time job, but your jeans still feel tight, your face still looks puffy, and you'd rather schedule a pap smear than go bikini shopping, the issue is not discipline. It's drainage. Your body has a built-in detox network that clears cellular waste, removes toxins, reduces inflammation, and keeps everything circulating. But here's the part that no one talks about. The detox system, it doesn't move on its own. It has no pump like our circulatory system. It depends on us for movement, pressure, and flow. And in today's sedentary, screen-bound, stress-packed world, it stagnates. And when that flow gets backed up, it doesn't just cause puffiness. It creates inflammation, fluid retention, sluggish metabolism, fatigue, puffy skin, and yes, cellulite that clings no matter what you do. You can drink all the lemon elixirs and electrolyte blends you want, but without stimulation, that system stays stuck. You can stay in holding mode, not healing mode. Imagine pouring clean water into a clogged sink. It just sits there. That's what happens when your lymph is stagnant. You might look inflamed, feel bloated, and wonder why the dimples keep deepening. If your body is full of unprocessed tension, inflammation, and cellular waste, it will hold on to everything, including the fat cells trapped between the fibrous septi and your skin's surface. But those surface level struggles stem from something much deeper. Your liver is one of the most underrated powerhouses in your entire body. It quietly filters toxins, balances hormones, and keeps your lymphatic flow light and efficient. But when it's overworked by stress, processed foods, alcohol, or chemical-laden skincare, your entire system slows down. Supporting your liver doesn't require a harsh detox. Just daily habits like warm lemon water, bitter greens, and reducing chemical exposures can help your internal systems decompress and your skin regain clarity. You can't sculpt a body that's stuck in survival mode. You have to drain the system before you can smooth the surface. So instead of forcing, clearing waste and restoring balance is the heartbeat of the Cellulite Circuit Lifestyle. Because when your body is in flow, everything changes. This isn't just about looking better, it's about reclaiming the way you feel in your body. It's about waking up energized instead of exhausted, feeling light and clear and centered, not puffy, foggy, or fried, sleeping soundly through the night, loving your reflection once again without picking yourself apart. Finally, feeling at home in your body, not like you're battling it. This is more than aesthetics. It's liberation. It's resilience. It's the quiet clarity that comes from knowing your body is no longer working against you, You're not working against it because you're finally working with it. Chapter 7, Cortisol and the Survival Skin Response. How stress rewrites your body's priorities. But if the drainage system is blocked, well, there's one hormone that throws it all into chaos. Let's talk about cortisol. Let's talk about the harmful chemical cocktail your body creates on the inside. Stress. Not the occasional tension, but the chronic, constant, can't catch your breath kind, because cellulite doesn't just come from standing still. It comes from getting stuck in survival mode, in stress loops, in systems that never got the chance to reset. So what's the cortisol cascade? You know those days when you're just snapping at nothing, overwhelmed by everything, irritated that the light is red yet there's no oncoming traffic and you're sitting in the intersection alone? That's my pet peeve. You know those days when your to-do list is longer than your patience? You style your hair the exact same way every day, but today it's rebelling like a hormonal teenager? You know, those days when your makeup looks like your adorable little 5-year-old offered to help? Half of your wardrobe is now a pile on the bed because nothing fits and nothing is coming together. When you just finally land on the outfit that you might want to wear that'll salvage your sanity, the racer back bra you need has vanished into the abyss. Sound familiar? That's not just a bad morning or day. That's emotional. It's not just a mood. It's biological. When your body is stuck in constant go hard mode, juggling deadlines, keeping the peace, holding space for everyone but yourself, you slip into a stress state called sympathetic dominance. When cortisol surges, your body shifts into survival mode, redirecting blood flow, tightening tissues, halting digestion, and yes, causing emotional toxins and fluid to pool in places like your hips and thighs. This is your fight or flight zone, and if you're in it too often, your body starts rewiring itself for danger, even when there isn't any. So what happens in survival mode? Well, here's what your body does to protect you. Cortisol, or stress hormone, spikes. Blood sugar rises. Fat storages increase, especially around the belly, hips, and thighs. Fascia tightens like a clenched fist. Circulation slows. Breathing is shallow. Lymph gets sluggish. Skin loses its glow, and dimples deepen. Your system down-regulates functions that aren't critical in a crisis, like digestion, detoxification, and deep cellular repair, because it's bracing for survival. So let's talk about the emotional toll of unprocessed stress. When stress, inflammation, and emotional buildup have nowhere to go, they settle in. That moment you swallowed your tears to keep the peace, the argument you never got to finish to feel heard and understood, that knee-jerk comment that made your head spin so fast you couldn't even think of a decent comeback until 24 hours later, your fascia remembers. Those emotional injuries don't just disappear because you thought the experience was in the past. They get stored, layered deep in your fascia, in your hips, in your thighs, like little time capsules of tension silently taking up space. And for some of us, survival didn't come from just a single moment. It came from years of emotional whiplash, decades of being gaslit, silenced, or made to question your own self-worth. Maybe you've been or are in a relationship with someone whose moods have held your nervous system hostage, second-guessing your every word, never knowing what version of them would walk through the door. Loving someone who made you feel small and then breadcrumbing you just enough to gain your approval to keep you clinging to the hope that it might change for good. When love feels unpredictable, your body stays braced for the next shift, the next silence, the next storm. I know that pattern intimately. I stayed too long in a narcissistic relationship that fed off my empathy and drained my light. I lost everything. My money, my voice, my sense of self. I was told I was the problem, that I needed to change. And one day, I looked in the mirror and did not recognize the woman staring back at me. Everything I had went into surviving that dynamic. And when it finally ended, I was left with a nervous system that didn't know peace and a body still bracing for the next blow. That's when I began to rebuild. Not just my finances or routines, but my safety, my boundaries, my body, and my self-worth. So when your body's recovering pathways are blocked by any type of trauma, your system is bound tight. Your nervous system is on high alert. That's the perfect storm for stagnation. When your nervous system is bracing and your fascia is guarding, your lymph is stuck in gridlock and your body is not releasing. It's retaining. It's holding on to that trauma, tension, inflammation, and survival mode signals. That's why the Cellulite Circuit doesn't demand more discipline. It offers permission to release tension, to release trauma, to let go of the protective patterns that kept you rigid, guarded, and on edge. That's the difference. That's the shift. You can't sculpt a body stuck in survival mode. You can't sculpt what your body is still clenching or tone what your nervous system won't release. The Cellulite Circuit isn't about force. It's about flow. It sends your body a powerful message. You're finally being held, not hardened. You don't have to hold on to it anymore. We calm the nervous system. We soften the fascia. We move the lymph. We reclaim the chemistry. And when all of that comes into sync, your body remembers how to heal. Your skin begins to reflect it, and you feel like yourself again, maybe for the first time in years. When I started working with my fascia, I didn't just release the knots. I released the grief, the guilt, trauma that I didn't even know I was still carrying. And that's when I realized this was never just about cellulite. It's about restoring compassion to the parts of me that I'd been hard on for far too long. That's also why I created the Mirror Fund, a give-back initiative for women coming out of trauma, emotional abuse, or recovery. Because when you've spent years being hard on your body, or someone else has done it for you, in an environment where your reflection was weaponized, softening isn't easy, but it is possible. And every purchase, every affiliate commission helps fund access to tools, workshops, and care packages for women learning to love themselves again. Chapter 8, Nervous System Reset, because no healing happens in fight or flight. And if stress is the spark, your nervous system is the fire alarm. Let's reset what's been stuck on high alert. In earlier chapters, we talked about fascia, lymph, and the weight of unprocessed stress. But what ties it all together, the real control center behind it all, is your nervous system. Because no matter how many green juices or tools you stack on your shelf, if your body thinks it's in danger, it's not going to budge. So here's the truth, my lovely friends. You can't sculpt a system that's stuck in defense mode. And that's the missing piece in nearly every cellulite solution. It isn't a serum or a supplement, it's safety. Not safety like lock the doors, but safety in your body. When was the last time you actually felt safe in your skin? Not tolerating it, not just pushing through the issues, but inhabiting it softly, fully, without apology. That's the gateway to real change, because when your body feels safe, muscles release, fascia softens, lymph flows, cortisol drops, and the tissues start trusting the process. And no, you do not need to become a yogi or move to Bali to get there. In the cellulite circuit, nervous system regulation is built right in, layered into each phase of the routine. We don't just do the ritual, we become the ritual. Breath work that tells your brain, I'm okay. Movement that cues your body, you can let go. Touch that reminds your tissue, you are safe now. It's not just about checking off a routine, although the checklist helps. It's about rewiring your internal script, the one that said, try harder, suck it in, be smaller. We're done with that. Instead, we practice being present, being gentle, being in tune. Because when the nervous system feels soothed, your biology responds. It's not magic, it's not marketing, it's neurobiology. And that's the foundation of the glow you've probably been chasing. So here's the invitation. Let this be more than a wellness routine. Let it be a return to your rhythm, your softness, to the body you thought you had to fight. But now you get to love. What's your biggest light bulb moment so far? Put it in the chat. Your voice matters. I'd love to hear it. And if you're wondering if this will work for your body, ask away. I've gotcha. Chapter 9. This is a lifestyle, not a product, not a phase, a rewired way of living. Now that we understand the system, it's time to talk about the solution. This is where everything shifts. You've heard enough about what's wrong. This chapter is about what's possible. The Cellulite Circuit Lifestyle Guide isn't a 30-day hustle. It's a rhythm, a sustainable, soul-supporting cadence that honors your biology instead of fighting against it. This isn't about giving your life a makeover. It's about giving your body what it's been begging for: space, flow, permission to downshift. The more I stopped pushing and punishing and perfecting, the more I saw results that lasted. Because when your lifestyle aligns with your biology, you don't have to white-knuckle your way through healing. The Cellulite Circuit isn't a challenge. It is a true lifestyle, a breakthrough, a new way of relating to your body, of showing up for her with consistency, compassion, and courage. You're not doing a 30-day hustle. You're stepping into a calming 90-day cadence that regulates your lymph, your fascia, your nervous system, and your curiosity, restoring inner peace. You'll become way more self-aware, more attuned to the inner dialogue that's been looping in the background, the one that says, you're not doing enough, or it's too late, you're too old. Because cellulite doesn't form overnight, and lasting results won't happen in a weekend or at an afternoon at the spa, not even on a surgeon's table. This is about transformation that honors your body's pace, that works with your biology, of course, instead of punishing it. It's a guide that respects the whole picture. When I finally understood what was really going on, everything shifted. I stopped chasing random treatments and I started building the system, the one that worked with my biology, not against it. One that nurtured my fascia, my lymph, my energy, my presence, and my self-worth. It's called the Cellulite Circuit Lifestyle Guide, and it's unlike anything you've tried before. In just a minute, I'll show you exactly what's on the inside of the guide so you can stop guessing and start flowing. But first, let's go a little bit deeper, because your fascia didn't start this story. It just picked up where your nervous system left off. And while red light panels, body brushes, and other tools can help, the real story goes deeper. It started with how you were taught to feel in your body. For me, it started when I was 9 years old. It was my mom, standing in the doorway, suitcase in hand, and as she turned to leave, she looked at me square in the eye and said, "Don't you dare cry, young lady." And then she peeled out of the driveway. I stood there frozen, trying to process what I had just watched. And so I didn't cry. I clenched. I coped. I got good at appearing okay, even when I wasn't. That moment didn't just shape how I showed emotion, it shaped how I showed up for my body, with tension, with distrust, with unspoken belief that softness made me weak and stillness made me vulnerable. From that day on, I became a fixer, a hider, a girl who thought if she could just be better, she'd be worthy of staying for. I spent years believing my body was a problem to solve, never once seeing it as my own sanctuary and safe place to trust. And I know I'm not the only one. Maybe someone compared you to your sister. Maybe you heard an older friend criticize herself while changing clothes. Maybe you stood by your partner, meeting every need, only to overhear him say, "She let herself go." That conditioning, it doesn't just shape how we think. It shapes how we treat ourselves. Because when a woman's emotions stays tangled in anxiety, when her nervous system is stuck in overdrive, her body holds on to stress, to tension, and of course to cellulite. It's not a trend. It's not a quick fix. It's not another plan that you'll quit by week 2. It's a system designed to address most root causes behind stubborn cellulite. Because when you care for your fascia, your lymph, and your mindset, your story, well, you don't just see smoother skin. You'll feel freedom in your body again. And that, my friend, is where we're headed together. Chapter 10, Mindset, the real block. Because you can't sculpt a body you secretly feel ashamed of. Before we dive into the guide, we've got to address the thing that shapes everything, our mindset, because it might be the most important part of this entire training. The biggest block in my journey wasn't fascia. It wasn't fluid. It was the way I thought about myself. I didn't believe I deserved to feel good in my body. I didn't believe I had the time or the confidence. I didn't believe change was actually possible, especially after years of letdowns and false hopes. For me, that belief started with trauma. I've shared my stories. Maybe yours is different. Maybe somebody violated your trust. Maybe somebody taught you that your body was something to hide, to be shameful of, or to fix. Or maybe it was the partner who pointed at your thighs and asked, "Why are they bumpy?" Whatever it was, your body received and internalized that message. So if you've ever started something full of hope and excitement, only to stop a few weeks later and label yourself as a failure, that's not failure. That's protection. That's your nervous system doing what it was trained to do. To disconnect, to retreat, to avoid more pain. You may have never been taught how to embrace your body. Maybe you were taught to judge it, to fix it, to shrink it, to punish it for being imperfect, to hustle for validation. But real lasting change doesn't begin with a product. It begins with a promise to soften your inner critic, to listen before you lash, to stay especially when you want to give up. to stop making your reflection the enemy and instead begin treating your body like it's always been home. Sacred, worthy, enough. This surpasses a wellness routine. It's a relationship realignment with yourself. You can scrub, sculpt, and sweat all you want, but if you're still carrying the weight of unhealed wounds and stories, your body will hold them too. Like me, because and unless and until you release the narratives, the ones you didn't cause, but somehow you blamed yourself for. You'll keep looping the same patterns. Not because you're lazy, not because you lack discipline, but because your nervous system has learned to cling to what feels familiar, even if it hurts. This is exactly where the shift begins. This work isn't just physical. It's emotional, it's cellular, it's soul deep. And that's why the Cellulite Circuit works. Not because it demands willpower, but because it restores your body's harmony. It's a protocol that gently brings you back to your intention and holds you there, even when life gets loud. Because meaningful evolution doesn't come from perfection. It comes from routines you'll want to return to on your best days and on your hardest ones. You don't need more pressure. You need a practice. And that's what we're building. One breath, one ritual, one gentle return at a time. Chapter 11. What's really going on beneath the skin? A look at fascia, fat, and fluid dynamics. So as we've learned, cellulite isn't just fat. It's the tension between upward pushing fat lobules and downward pulling fibrous septi. Here's what's actually happening beneath the surface of your skin, my dear. Fibrous septi are connective tissue bands, primarily composed of collagen, particularly types 1 and 3 collagen fibers that tether the skin to the underlying muscle layer. These bands become stiffer, shorter, and more fibrotic over time, contributing to deeper dimples. Fat lobules push up between those bands, creating that wonderful bumpy look that we all love to hate. Fascia is the connective tissue that wraps around everything and become stiff, sticky, and dehydrated over time. Lymphatic stagnation means drainage slows, waste builds up, inflammation increases, and swelling sets in. So, you're probably wondering, well, how do tools like gua sha and cupping, the Chelsea Jean lymphatic gloves, how does everything help? Well, let me list about 7 different ways for you. And the first one is fascia remodeling. These tools stretch and mobilize the fascia that may be stuck. Healthy fascia glides. Stuck fascia clumps and traps fat. Over time, the kind of manual work that we're suggesting can help realign collagen fibers, improve elasticity, and restore movement. Fascia surrounds fat cells. If it's restricted, fat pushes through and creates those dimples. When we remodel the fascia, the surface looks smoother. Some techniques like cupping and deep gua sha apply force that can start to soften or weaken the fibrous bands, causing dimpling. This is similar to how treatments like Resonic or Selfina work, but without the sound waves or surgery. Releasing even some of the tension in these bands can make a visible difference. I've totally seen it in myself. It can help the skin build new collagen in a better, even way. And number 3, microcirculation and capillary reperfusion. What is that? Well, these tools increase blood flow in areas that tend to be stagnant. That includes more oxygen delivery and better nutrient exchange. When blood flow is poor, inflammation rises and the tissue becomes more fragile. When blood flow improves, cells get what they need to regenerate, repair, and function properly. And number 4, interstitial cleaning and ECM remodeling. What am I talking about? The extracellular matrix, or ECM, is the gel-like fluid that is around your cells. When lymph doesn't drain, it can become toxic, swollen with debris. Using tools like Fascia and cupping can help move that fluid and clear out the waste. When the ECM is clean, your cells communicate better. We all love better communication, and the inflammation goes down. And number 5, mechanotransduction. I know this sounds like I'm talking a foreign language here, but it simply means that cells respond to touch. Why we love getting massages. When you press or glide a tool over your skin, you're sending a message to the tissue. Fibroblasts respond to these signals by producing new collagen and elastin. With consistent touch over time, you are teaching your tissue how to heal and strengthen itself. And number 6, something we can all relate to, nervous system reset and muscle tension release. These tools help shift your body into a calmer state by activating the parasympathetic nervous system. That means lower cortisol and more rest. They also help release tight muscles and fascia that may be pulling the skin out of balance. That means less tension allows for better lymph flow, digestion, and hormone function. And here we go with the number 7, epigenetic activation and skin rejuvenation. We all love this. Regular manual stimulation can activate genes related to collagen production and tissue repair. Some studies even show this kind of touch can thicken the skin and improve how the dermis and fat layers interact. This really matters because cellulite-prone skin is often much thinner and more fragile. Over time, this stimulation can help firm the skin and reduce how much fat bulges through. This is where the real shift begins. You can use the tools and follow the guide, but lasting changes happen when you reconnect with the parts of the body that you probably once avoided. Touch isn't just physical. For many women, the areas affected by cellulite have probably been ignored or hidden and most definitely judged for all these years. Now, these rituals offer a way back to connection, presence, and ownership. So approach these areas with care and consistency. You're not just treating your skin. You, my love, are reclaiming it. Stick with me through the remainder of the training because near the end, I'll show you how to put all of this into action in your own life with my full lifestyle guide system. Chapter 12. Why doesn't the body do this on its own? When evolution can't keep up with toxins, stress, and spanks. The body is beautifully designed to heal, drain, and regenerate, but modern life interrupts that design at every turn. So here's why your body needs a little help remembering how to flow again. Modern life simply works against the body, and the lymphatic system doesn't have a built-in pump. It relies on muscle movement, breath, and skin stretch to circulate. But most women, myself included, today are sitting for hours, wearing tight clothing, breathing shallowly, and living in a state of constant stress. We were designed to walk, twist, squat, dance, laugh, move. Instead, we live in a world that restricts flow at almost every level, physically, emotionally, and chemically. Fascia is adaptive. When it stops being moved, stretched, or hydrated, it becomes brittle and sticky. When fascia sticks, it stops gliding. Circulation slows and waste builds up. This stiffness traps fat and fluid under the surface, contributing to puffiness and dimpling. When the body is under stress, it prioritizes survival. Cortisol signals the body to store fat, hold fluid, and pause on regeneration. This keeps the nervous system in a constant state of alert, blocking the parasympathetic response that supports healing, digestion, detox, and fascia release. Culturally, we've been trained to hide, shrink, or criticize the parts of ourselves mostly affected by cellulite. Touch disappears, awareness fades, and areas like the thighs, belly, and hips become kind of foreign, even to our own hands. And without attention, those areas fall stagnant. So tools like gua sha, cupping, and lymphatic gloves are not the solution on their own. They are designed to give the body a signal. They tell the body to wake up, move fluid, release tension, and rebuild tissue. They mimic the natural stimuli we no longer get with play, breath, pressure, movement, and grounding. So rather than forcing the body to change, we're simply reintroducing what it once knew, what it still knows, underneath the surface. So why do you think cellulite is worse today than it was decades ago? Well, one large reason is that we move less than we did years ago. Our ancestors walked, squatted, lifted, danced, and labored. Today, many of us sit for most of the day, as I said earlier, with little stimulation to the lymphatic or fascial systems. You've learned by now in this training, no movement means no flow. So no fluid builds up, fascia stiffens, and dimples form. Another massive contributing factor is processed foods, poor sleep, chronic stress, and pollution. These all contribute to inflammation. This makes fascia more rigid, weakens the skin, and traps fluid under the surface. Inflamed tissue cannot heal or regenerate effectively. And you'll agree with me here, friends. Compression is constant in our lives now. Tight jeans, underwear, bras, restrictive shapewear, athletic wear. All these garments compress the lymphatic and fascial systems. Over time, this suffocates the natural circulation and limits the body's ability to drain or release. One that we covered in a previous chapter, cortisol. We love to hate cortisol, the primary stress hormone. It breaks down collagen and elastin. Add in sleep issues, hormonal imbalances, and undereating, and the skin loses its strength and resilience. Cellulite has always existed. It's how we're built. Beauty and pressure have intensified it since 1920, but it wasn't zoomed in, filtered, and critiqued on a daily basis. We now see our bodies through the lens of comparison and perfection due to social media. This constant awareness heightens shame and stress, creating a negative feedback loop. So, cellulite is not new, but our current lifestyle has definitely made it worse. That's why cellulite is fueling a multi-billion-dollar marketplace, stretching into creams, spa visits, and advanced surgical treatments. Because no one's figured out why real transformation starts from beneath the surface. Or have they? And they're just hoping you don't. Ancient cultures inherently practice self-massage, dry brushing, and mineral bathing. These weren't just aesthetic rituals. They were forms of circulation, connection, and care. Today, most body touch is functional or corrective if it happens at all. We've traded movement for convenience. We've replaced body rituals with judgment. Somewhere along the way, touch became transactional. But the body still craves tenderness. And the good news is, just as the problem has roots, well, so does the solution. So you're not flawed, my friend. You're just blocked. And that can be reversed. I know, because I obsessed, I researched, I panicked, I cried when medical treatments didn't work. So I've turned 27 years of experience into education, into action, and into a system that works. The beauty industry has made us hyper aware in all the wrong ways. Now we're using that awareness to come home to our bodies instead of waging war on them. Chapter 13. Welcome to the circuit, the system that turns stuck into sculpted. Now let's walk through the ritual that brings all of this together. You've made it this far, which tells me one thing. You're not just inspired, you're ready for a system. And that's what the Cellulite Circuit Lifestyle Guide delivers. This isn't hopefully another digital download collecting dust on your desktop. It's a 90-day lifestyle reboot rooted in fascia, lymph, mindset, nourishment, and nervous system repair. The kind of system your body's been craving. One built from real experience, not recycled fluff. Because after the creams, the clinics, and the chaos of conflicting advice, I realized I did not want or need another quick fix. I needed a framework that I could trust, one that delivered results while helping me reclaim my power and feel good and in control of my body. And that's exactly what I created. For me, for you, for the thousands of women ready to stop guessing and start flowing. We explored drainage in a previous segment. Now it's time for the how. Not just to detox, but to rebuild and restore everything you've been holding. Because recovery doesn't require an overhaul. It requires a pace your body can finally trust. Inside the guide, you'll flow through 10 immersive chapters, but everything is anchored in 3 powerful phases designed to help strengthen your biology and your belief in yourself. Phase 1 is reset, clear stagnation, inflammation, and energetic clutter. This is where we begin restoring coherence to your breath, your body, and your nervous system. Think of it as opening the windows and letting the fresh air in. Phase 2 is rebuild. Rehydrate your fascia, nourish your lymph, rewire habits. Feed your skin from within. This is where circulation improves, habits deepen, and your reflection starts to shift. Phase 3 is refine. Elevate your practice, amplify your results, and most importantly, learn how to sustain the results without guilt, burnout, or perfectionism. This is where confidence becomes second nature. Here's what's inside the Lifestyle Guide. Chapter 1, Welcome. My story, your why, and our shared foundation. Chapter 2, Getting Started. Clarity, community, and commitment. Chapter 3, The Confidence Circuit. Mindset that shifts behavior. Chapter 4, What is the Cellulite Circuit? The why behind the method. Chapter 5, Cellulite Circuit Essentials. Tools, techniques, and science-backed steps. Chapter 6, Reflection to Revelation. Progress tracking without pressure. Chapter 7, The Checklist, Your Daily Routine Simplified. Chapter 8, Boost and Enhance. Weekly and monthly editions that amplify results. Chapter 9, radiance from within, fascia-loving foods and hydration formulas. Chapter 10, your next chapter, freedom, maintenance, and embodiment. You'll know what to do every step of the way, when to do it, and exactly why it works. Because when you understand the why, showing up doesn't feel like pressure, it feels like power. Transformation promise. More than anything, this lifestyle guide gives you back home. Because in just 90 days, along with helping to reduce the dimples, you're rebuilding trust within your body. And when that trust returns, the doubt quiets, the certainty rises, your brilliance resurfaces, and your confidence, well, that's going to be undeniable. And that's not just liberating, that's power embodied. If you've ever stood in front of the mirror, sighed, and wondered if your body could ever feel like yours again, this is for you, my friend. Here's what's included when you download the Cellulite Circuit Lifestyle Guide. A complete 90-day system delivered in 10 beautifully structured chapters. Simple, powerful daily routines and checklists that fit into your real lifestyle. Lymph and fascia rejuvenation techniques designed to detox, sculpt, and ignite your body's natural glow. Weekly and monthly boosters that amplify your results when you're ready. Nutrition and hydration guidance that reduces toxins and nourishes your skin from the inside out. You get access to our private Facebook community for support, connection, and celebration. Instant digital access. Print it and use anywhere, anytime, no appointment, no pressure. This guide was designed to be accessible. No machines, no $1,000 devices, no spa appointments required. This isn't magic, but it is a method, and it starts with a few essentials. Inside the guide, I share the exact tools I've personally tested, curated, and use myself every day. Because this isn't a Pinterest mood board. It's a results-driven system built on science, structure, and self-respect. Most tools are under $40. You won't need everything at once, and you'll never be pressured to buy a single thing that you don't truly need. Here's the part I'm most proud of. Every commission from our product recommendation is donated 100% to the Mirror Fund. So your investment, it's not just helping you heal. It's helping women coming out of trauma, emotional abuse, or recovery and access the same tools and guidance you're leaning on today. This isn't about forcing your body into submission. It's about becoming the woman who shows up for herself daily. Not because she has to, but because she finally believes she's worth it. This isn't a Band-Aid. It's a breakthrough, and you're ready. If you have questions, please drop them in the comments. Whether it's about your time, your budget, your body, there's no wrong question. I'm not here to pressure you. I'm here to help you finally get answers. Chapter 14, your invitation. Are you ready to show up for you, for real this time? So now that you know the system, the question is, will you show up for you? Not perfectionism, just presence. Not pressure, just a promise. This isn't about chasing some impossible ideal. It's about choosing you. Choosing a short season of loving, consistent commitment for your fascia, your lymph, and your nervous system, your skin, and your reflection staring back at you. You've held space for everyone else. Now, my friends, it's your turn. Because you stayed, because you're ready. You've been here for this entire training, and I'm so proud of you. And that tells me something. You're not just interested, you're invested. You're ready to make that shift. You're ready to stop circling the same promises that never fully delivered and step into something designed for your body, your biology, and your bandwidth. So I created something just for you. The Cellulite Circuit Lifestyle Guide normally sells for $147. But right now, as a founder's launch bonus, you can download the complete 90-day system for just $77. That's over 45% off as a heartfelt thank you for showing up for yourself today. Because let's be honest, you're not hoping for a change anymore. You're just ready for it. You're ready to stop guessing, to stop bouncing between treatments like I did, and half-baked promises to give your body the structure, the strategy, and the softness it's been craving. And just a heads up, once we open the bonus modules for coaching series, this price will go up. So if you've been waiting for a sign, well, maybe this is it. Your next step isn't just a click, it's a commitment to you. Chapter 15, your bonus, guided meditation ritual. Drop in, let go, let it flow. Before we close, my friends, I have one last gift for you. Something nourishing and neurologically calming. A slow cellular level shift for your fascia, your breath, and your inner dialogue. Something sacred and uniquely electric. When you download the guide, you'll also receive access to my signature meditative audio, the Cellulite Soothe. It's a soul-settling guided practice designed to help you regulate your breath, settle your nervous system, and reconnect you with your body through the tension, the trauma, and the stress that it's been holding on to for how many years. This background check is like a restoration ritual for your tissues, your breath, and your belief. A reminder that you're back in control, that your body is listening, and that you, my friend, are allowed to feel good without earning it, fixing it, shrinking it, or anything of the kind. Use it to unwind before bed or start your mornings with intention. Pair it with your Cellulite Circuit release sequence, or anytime you need to remind yourself, I am safe, I am worthy, I am home. Even if you're not quite ready to begin the full 90-day guide yet, this meditation is my gift to you. Because the fact that you showed up for yourself and this training tells me something. You're open, you're curious, and you're courageous. And that, my friend, deserves to be honored. Your meditation link will arrive by email, so you can begin right away whenever you're finally ready to say, I'm done waiting and I'm coming home to my body. If you're still on the fence, or if something in today's training brought up a question for you, don't hold back. This is a no judgment zone. Just email me or leave a question in the comments if you're watching this through the private Facebook group. I'm not just here to sell you a guide. I'm here to walk you through it. Chapter 16, Next Steps, Your Personalized Path Forward. This isn't the end. It's the up level. And now, one quick last thing before we go. Devoting just one short season or chapter in your life could shift everything for the rest of it. It can ground you in your body, calm you in your mind, and bring peace to the woman staring back at you in your everyday reflections. This guide isn't just about skin or science. It's about your alignment, your awakening, your return to self. But before you download it, I want something from you. I want your commitment. That for the next 90 days, You will choose you. Not perfectly, not obsessively, but fully. Because that's what it takes to meet the version of you who's been waiting patiently on the other side of fatigue, frustration, and self-doubt. And once she starts to rise, oh honey, you'll never want to shrink back again. I'll be right here cheering you on. So go ahead, click that button to download your Cellulite Circuit Lifestyle Guide today. And while you're at it, book that boudoir shot, mark your calendar, circle the date. And yes, I am serious. Because this version of you, she's coming in hot. And that photo, that's me. Not 10 pounds lighter, not fresh out of a procedure, just 90 days of showing up for myself. Well, okay, and maybe a little retouching because I don't want to scare the algorithm. But that glow, that energy, that joy, that spirit, that's who's been hiding since she was 9 years old. And that's all available for you too. And that, my beautiful friend, is exactly what I want for you. So thank you for being here, for listening, for feeling, for daring to believe there might be something more than frustration, more than dimples, and more than shame. Whether you're starting today or sitting with it, I honor you, and I'm so damn proud of you. This isn't the end. This is the invitation. And I'll be right here guiding, cheering, and walking this with you every step of the way. If you've still got questions about the guide, your routine, or anything that's come up for you, just reach out to us via email or in our private Facebook group. Sometimes the questions don't come until later, and that's okay. I'm here for you. Empower your journey one day at a time, my beautiful friends. I love you, and I will see you inside the guide.